Welcome to Next Radio with Broadcast Bionics, innovative solutions for creative people.
Hello, I'm Dick Stone. I'm Programme Director of Capital FM in the East Midlands. I've been in radio for around about 25 years, thereabouts. I know, I don't look old enough. I put it down to headphone abuse myself. In that 25-year period, I've been a Programme Director of a large radio station, a regional radio station, a small radio station, a group of radio stations. I've run a network, a 24-hour-a-day network. I've coached talent directly. I've done a breakfast show myself. I've worked closely with programmers. As Matt said, I've coached programmers as well as talent. Not all talent deserves the name talent, I'll have to say, but you get the gist. In the whole of that time, in that 25 years or more, we seem to just be spending an inordinate amount of time talking about one four-letter word. And that four-letter word, of course, is prep. If you've ever met any program consultant, almost every other word is the word prep, and they'll charge you for it. But every single programmer that I've met, right the way back from when I started out in radio, has been talking about prep. We've been talking about prep for the best part of 30-odd years. And so today I want to talk about prep, yes, but also what is prep and what isn't prep, and what I've learned in that period. So, raise your hand if I can see you in the dark, if this scenario is at all familiar. Prior to going on the air, you will look through a newspaper or the newspapers of the day, or maybe look at the website of various radio stations, or maybe aggregator websites that funnel lots of content in. You'll look through that material, you'll spot something that is of interest. You might rip it out, cut and paste, you might print it, or you might look at your prep service that maybe you pay for, and you'll find things that are interesting to you, and you'll clip them and you'll put them to one side, and then you'll go into the studio and you'll do it on the air. Is that all familiar to anybody? Stick your hand in the air if that is all familiar. For 90% of the radio industry who do self-presentation, music radio, that is what they call prep. I'm afraid that basically we're screwed if that is prep, because that is a little bit of prep, but it isn't prep. And if we carry on doing that, quite frankly, we're dead, because all we're doing is regurgitating the same old crap that the person down the road has been regurgitating for the last 25 minutes or half an hour or more. So we need to do something a bit different. So what I suggest, and what my 15 minutes is about, is ripping your content. So I've made it a little bit easy for you to remember, bearing in mind our presentation earlier on. So we'll take RIP. So the first part of that is the bit that everyone else is doing. The research. R stands for research. Gather material, but gather the right material. What I want you to do is to look for stuff that interests you, and when I mean interest, I mean excites you, makes you laugh, makes you angry, makes you cry, makes you laugh, makes you look at it and wonder, makes you intrigued, interests you in some kind of way, and clip that information, but run it through a filter. The filter is this of any interest whatsoever to my target audience, whoever that may be? And if it isn't, if it's only of interest to you, for example, if you are a huge collector and wander the world collecting kitchen spatulas, keep that to yourself and your therapist. Don't put that on the air. Maybe just once. But just collect the material that is of interest to you and sparks an interest inside you. Something that makes you want to share that information with somebody else, or something that really gets your goat, something that inspires you and gets you motivated. That's the stuff to find. Doesn't matter what it is. Run it through the filter of your target audience. Create a big pile, a metaphorical pile of that prep. The I stands for internalize. That's the bit where we normally stop. What I want you to do is to not take that material with you. I want you to read that research. Go through that material that you've collected. Understand it so you can stand on a stage or you can stand in a studio and you can talk about it as if you're the world's authority. And more importantly, when I hear you talk about it, I know what it was that inspired you, that made you laugh, that got you angry, that made you upset about something, that made you interested, and I can get that just from you telling me that information. But the thing that you really do need to do, and I implore you not to do this, is do not take the piece of material that you've got, the bit from the paper, the bit from the prep service. Don't ever take that into a room where there's a live microphone. For God's sake, don't do that. And I'll tell you why. In fact, we'll demonstrate it. Who here speaks for a living on the radio? Stick your hand in the air. Excellent. Would you come up here? Yes, you. Yes, it'll be painless. Honestly, it'll be painless. It's no big deal. I would like you to read through that and then, thank you, out loud into this microphone, tell me the weather.
Not without reading it.
Tell me the weather.
A bit of clouds, some sunny spells later, maybe a shower, some winds from the northwest. Like temperatures 23 degrees, that's 73 Fahrenheit. And tomorrow's going to be a bit cloudy, mainly dry, 21 Celsius, that's 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
Excellent. Give me a round of applause. Thanks so much. Thank you. Nothing earth-shattering in that. One more volunteer, please. Yes, you'll do. Because you put your hand up earlier on. Thanks very much. Same routine. Have a read of that. Tell me the weather.
Sunny today, few clouds, not much chance of rain. Warm, 23 degrees, could be a nice day. Cloudy tomorrow, a bit cooler.
Fantastic. Give me a round of applause. Thanks very much. Nothing earth-shattering in either of those two bits of audio. I'm sure you'll agree. The thing is, the reason why they both sounded different was because they looked different. That was what was on the cards. And who here speaks on the radio for a living? Stick your hand in the air so I can see it. That'd be great. I'm sorry to break it to you in this kind of way, and you're amongst friends, but you're all freaks. Seriously, you are all freaks because you sit in a darkened room talking essentially to nobody, and if someone puts a piece of paper in front of you, you will read it out on the air. You're preconditioned to do so. In fact, I didn't actually tell you to read it. I said, tell me what the weather was, and you questioned me. As good on you. You questioned as to whether you should read it from the card. I didn't answer you. I just said, tell me the weather. I didn't tell you to read it, but you still told me that it was 73 degrees Fahrenheit a couple of times because it was there on the card. If you take the piece of paper from the clipping from the newspaper or from the website that is written in written English and take it into a studio where you use spoken English, you'll sound like a prat. If you're talking about the latest exploits of, I don't know, Jay from The Wanted, you'll end up saying, and the Glad You Came star said such and such, such and such. And you wouldn't talk like that amongst your mates because they would jab you in the eye with a pencil. Or at very least laugh and throw fruit. Quite rightly, because people don't talk like that in the real world. Your job in a radio studio is to talk in spoken words. So that's why it's important that you internalize and you don't take the piece of paper into a room where there is a live microphone because you will sound like an idiot. And no matter what you do, even if my good friend there says, do you want me to read this or not? And I say, just tell me the weather. You can't help yourself. You will start reading words from a piece of written material that is there to be read, not to be said. So don't do it. Internalize it, make it your own. Tell me why it is that it matters to you in a way that is your own, that is personal. So that's the I. I'm sure you can guess the P. The P is presenting. Performing, actually. Radio is a performance. It takes me, I live around about sort of half an hour, 40 minutes away from the radio station that I program in Nottingham. That's a fairly long commute. A lot of people, the average is around about sort of 20 minutes. In a drive time show, I might hear maybe 1 or 2 links. So if you've done this great bit of research, collected this piece of information that inspires you, makes you laugh, or makes you angry, or gets you motivated in some way or the other. You've internalized it and made it your own, and then you throw it away when you get in the studio. That's bad radio. Great research, great content, poorly delivered is poor content. So make it count when you get in the studio. What I want you to do is to think, what music do I need? What effects do I need, if any? Do I need a caller? Does someone need to ask me a question before I start doing this? Do I need more than one person involved in this? Do I need a caller at the end to get a kicker, to get some more calls? Do I need someone else to halfway through say something so it takes it to a new level so I can do something else about it? Can I make a sketch out of it? Can I make a mock news bulletin out of it? Can I make a dummy ad based on this? Can I do a quiz with the audience based on this bit of content that I've found? Work all that out so that when you go into a studio and you've done the research and you've internalized it and made it your own, so I know why you're telling me this and why you're going to spend time talking to me on the radio about this. When you say it, you've got all that in your mind and it's crystallized and I understand it. So that when it comes to the point when you open the mic and deliver it, it's not the first time that you've heard it. I want you to run it through in your head. If you don't mean that you necessarily have to rehearse it out loud. Some people do, but not everybody is into that. Not everyone can do that. But run through it in your mind so that when you deliver it on the air, it isn't the first time that you've heard it. So you cut out the bits that aren't required to tell the story, to make it accessible, but you keep in the bits that make it interesting. So that's it. RIP, rip your content. And if you do rip your content, then great content and great radio will not rest in peace. That's all I have for you. I told you I'd run ahead of time. I talk about stuff like this online in my blog at dickstone.blogspot.com, difficult to say, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'm happy to answer most things on Twitter, but that's me. Thanks very much indeed.
Dick Stone, everybody. Thank you.